In this next video, I'll actually show how Factory IO works and how it actually will connect to the controller and how we can use the controller to interface with this emulated environment. So I'm back at Factory IO at my scene. I've already configured it for my IP address, and I've already configured my tags and downloaded my program to the Micro820 controller. So what I need to do in Factory IO is I'm going to go back to File and then Drivers, and I want to connect to the controller now. So we are connected. It changed its terminology here to disconnect, so that means that we have connected. We also have a green arrow, which shows connection. And we also show the tags. If for some reason, if a tag was not existing in the controller, we would get like a red circle with an exclamation point to let us know that there was an error there. So right now, everything is good. We have a connection made, and these tags do exist in the controller. So we go back to the scene, and now I need to say switch between the edit and the run mode. When I do that, my panel goes away that has all the elements that I could add to the scene, and now I'm just looking at the scene. So I'm going to minimize this window, and I'm also going to do that here on the Micro820. So I'm already connected to my Micro820, and I have my global variable table up. I don't have any logic created at all. This is just going to be me triggering the bits in the global variable table. For the lab, you'll actually have to create ladder logic that will control the process of this. But we see right away that we have two checked logical values as on. So our Boolean input 0, which is the sensor, is showing on, and our Boolean input 1, which is basically the Factory IO is running status, is also on. If I were to turn the status, if I would switch the mode back to off mode, you'll see that the running is off. I'll put that back to on. So it's just an indication. We're not going to really use that in the logic, but it's just an indicator to you that the Factory IO is actually running. And the conveyor is not turned on right now, so the box is not moving. If I were to trigger the conveyor, which basically is forcing this output on, it's going to start the box moving, which we see. And I can stop the box by turning it off, turn it on again, turn it off. Now, what we want to see is when it comes here to the end, where we hit the sensor, we're going to see this sensor status change. Now, the sensor is on, which basically means it's either a normally closed contact or it's an always on type sensor, so that when the box triggers it, this is going to change state, which means it's going to go off. So we're going to kind of consider this as a normally closed contact on the sensor, basically. So let's go ahead and turn the conveyor on, and then there we can see that it triggered. Now, once the box has fell, when it fell off the conveyor, nothing is triggering the sensor anymore, so it went back to its normally closed state. Now, if I want to reset this and do it again, I hit the reset simulation, and I can run it again. And we can watch now as the box comes to the sensor, that status changed on its own. So that's how we can interface this environment, this virtual emulated environment, to our actual real Micro820 controller. So the lab is going to have you basically do this, with the exception of you're going to have to come into the program and you will have to create some ladder logic to control the various aspects of that box moving down the conveyor. You can see there's no logic here whatsoever, but that'll be what you have to do. When you're ready to shut it all down, well, we can disconnect from the controller. We can also stop our emulated environment, take it out of the run mode, back into edit mode. And if we wanted to, we can come back here to drivers and we can disconnect from the controller.